Hello. In this session, we'll be discussing about the experiment number 4, determination of percentage of iron in the given hematite ore solution. And this is an external indicator method. Here our aim is to determine the percentage of iron in the given sample of hematite ore solution by using the hematite ore solution, which contains mainly ferric oxide. What and all we need here means the requirements are potassium dichromate crystals, hematite ore solution, hydrochloric acid, stannous chloride, and the indicator, external indicator potassium ferricyanide, a wax paper, a glass rod. All these things are needed here. And what is the principle here? The principle of this experiment is, here hematite ore is a chief ore of one of the chief ore of main ore of iron, which contains mainly ferric oxide, okay, with small amount of silica. Hematite ore solution is made by dissolving the ore in dilute hydrochloric acid, okay, that is FeCl3. The ferric ions present in hematite ore solution are reduced to ferrous ions by adding stannous chloride under hot condition in the presence of a HCl. The excess stannous chloride is removed by the addition of a mercury chloride. Here first we will be starting with the preparation of standard solution. We will be making a the principle. Before that, principle here is we will be taking the hematite ore solution, hematite ore solution where hematite is in a 3+ oxidation state. We reduce the ferric iron into ferrous by adding a reducing agent stannous chloride. We are reducing here because our burette reagent is a strong oxidizing agent potassium dichromate. The ferric ions cannot be further oxidized easily, so we are reducing it first. So this is the principle. In the hot condition, we will be adding the stannous chloride to reduce the ferric ions into ferrous form. And coming to the procedure, first we have to prepare the standard solution. How to prepare the standard solution? We have to weigh accurately the given potassium dichromate crystals and transfer into a cleanly washed 250 ml volumetric flask, and we have to dissolve in a small amount of ion exchange water, and it should be diluted up to the mark. Very simple. We have to weigh the salt, transfer into volumetric flask, and then add water up to the mark and mix it well. Then what we have to do is we have to pipette out 25 ml of the hematite ore solution into a clean conical flask, and then we should add quarter test tube of concentrated HCl. We are taking the hematite ore solution and we are heating the hematite ore solution with HCl. When we heat the hematite ore solution with HCl, the ferric oxide is converted into ferric chloride. We are just converting the oxide form into chloride form first for the purpose of reaction. And then we are heating the solution. And to the hot solution, we are adding dropwise stannous chloride solution, dropwise stannous chloride solution, and it will become colorless. The colorless solution means the ferric ions are reduced to ferrous form. After it becomes completely colorless, we should add 1 drop extra to ensure complete reduction. Then after that, we have to cool the solution. To the cooled solution, we should add quarter test tube of mercury chloride. When we add mercury chloride, we should supposed to get a silky white precipitation. If we are getting anything other than silky white precipitation, we have to discard the mixture and we have to start the experiment from the beginning. I think you understood. We have to take 25 ml of the hematite ore solution, add 5 cm cube of that is quarter test tube of concentrated HCl, and boil the solution. To the hot solution, add dropwise stannous chloride until it becomes colorless, and after it becomes colorless, add just 1 drop extra to ensure complete reduction. Then cool the solution. To the cooled solution, we have to add mercury chloride and we must get a silky white precipitation. And then after getting the silky white precipitation, you just add 1 test tube of water to the solution, and then we have to take the indicator. Indicator here is a external indicator potassium ferricyanide. This indicator we cannot add internally, because if we add internally, what happens here is in our conical flask now ferrous ions are there. Ferric was there, we reduced it into ferrous form. So the ferrous ions react with the potassium ferricyanide and will be forming ferrous ferricyanide, which is a irreversible complex and will be forming dark blue coloration. So if you add by mistake the indicator into the conical flask, you will be getting blue color. You cannot remove that blue color by anyways. So you should be careful here. You are taking the indicator on a wax paper, okay, and then you have to take always one drop from the conical flask and you are checking outside. The color you will be checking outside here because this is an external indicator. You have to take it on a wax paper, okay. And what is the end point? How can we find out the end point? Means the indicator will be like slightly like yellow in color, okay. And when you keep on taking the reaction mixture from the conical flask and if you keep on putting on the indicator, you will be getting a blue coloration. Blue coloration is due to the formation of the ferrous ions are reacting with the potassium ferricyanide to give blue coloration. Okay, when it will not produce any blue or green color, that is the end point. Why it will not produce any blue or green color? Because all the ferrous ions are oxidized to ferric, okay, when it is reacting with the potassium dichromate, that is the burette solution. Okay, when we titrate the reaction mixture with the potassium dichromate, what happens? All the ferrous ions present in the conical flask will be oxidized to ferric form. When all the ferrous ions are oxidized to ferric, when no more ferrous ions are there, you will not observe any blue or green color. That is our end point. Okay, and like first trial, it's a trial and error method. Okay, what you have to do is you will be adding first 5 ml first. Okay, 5 ml first you will be adding to the conical flask. You will be mixing well. You are taking one drop from the conical flask and putting on the indicator drop. You will get blue color. After adding 5 ml, then what you have to do? You should keep on adding 1 ml. Okay, that is 5 to 6 you will add. You will mix it well and you will take one drop from the conical flask and you will put it on an indicator. You will be getting blue color. Okay, so you will be keep on adding 1 ml until you get the end point. Okay, fine. Okay, and here place a number of freshly prepared potassium ferricyanide indicator on a wax paper. Okay, and we should do the titration against a standard potassium dichromate solution from burette in small quantities, okay, into the conical flask and mix well. Remove a drop of a reaction mixer from the conical flask using a clean glass rod and bring it in contact with a drop of indicator on the wax paper. The color of the indicator turns blue as long as the titration is complete. That is, as long as the ferrous ions are present, you will be getting blue or green color. Once when all the ferrous ions are already oxidized to ferric, you will not be getting any blue or green color. That is the end point. Okay, and in the subsequent trials, second and third trials, okay, the potassium dichromate required at once, like you will be adding 1 centimeter cube less than the previous burette reading required for equivalence. For example, you will do one trial, first trial, okay, like 5 ml you have added and you will keep on adding 1 ml until you get the end point. For example, you got the end point at 10 ml. You assume that in the first trial you got the end point at 10 ml. Okay, so for the second trial, what you can do? No need to check at 5 ml and 1 ml again and again. You will be adding directly until the 9 ml. Okay, first reading you got the end point at 10 ml. Second trial, what you can do? Directly add up to 9 ml. Okay, take one drop from the conical flask and put it on the indicator drop and check it for the color, and then you will be adding 0.1 ml at a time. Okay, 0.1 ml or 5 to 6 drops you will be adding from the burette to take the accurate end point. Okay, and repeat the titration for getting the concordant values. And the calculation part is you have to weigh the salt with the bottle, that is W1, and weight of the empty bottle is W2. W1 minus W2 gives the weight of the potassium dichromate taken. When you multiply it by 4 and when you divide it by equivalent weight of the potassium dichromate 49, you will be getting the normality of the potassium dichromate, that is Y normal. And you will be doing the 3 trials, right? Titration. Okay, and any one trial you are taking, that is a X. So burette reading is X. Y is the normality of the potassium dichromate. Okay, and you have to calculate here by using a 0.005585 into Y, that is the normality of the potassium dichromate. Okay, into burette reading, you will be getting a grams. Okay, you will be getting the value, that is A. Okay, and last percentage of iron present in the hematite ore solution is equal to 10A into 100 by W dash. W dash is a weight of the hematite that will be given to you in your exams. Okay, so that you will be finding the amount of the iron present in the given hematite ore solution per liter. Fine, and you have to click the following link so to see the demo of the experiment. Thank you.